Good morning and welcome to our kitchen. It's been probably 3 weeks since we've been back in our kitchen. Anyway, welcome to everybody. Today I'm Gordy Galusha. Okay, and today we're going to be making beef and broccoli stew and P.T.A. bars. And we're going to start off with Nancy getting her meat started and her stew going.
Thank you. Just a little intro on this. Probably at a tag sale or estate sale or something, I found this food cures book, Nutritional prescriptions, and it gives you all different diseases and
nice.
how to nutritionally help to fight them. Well, in the back there's a bunch of nice recipes, and I think I've already used one, and then this is my second one. And the nice thing about a lot of the recipes with the spices, I have at home. And this particular recipe I'm going to use is going to be ginger and garlic, and then other recipes have cinnamon, which I keep on hand all the time. So I'm looking to use some more recipes from this book. And this one with the broccoli and the beef, carrots, good vegetables for you. Now the beef, you want protein. This could be a recipe where it extends your protein, because if you noticed, and they keep telling us, meat is getting more expensive. And if you can buy a pound and get 4 or 5 servings out of it when you may have only gotten 3, say, then you're doing a good job in extending and getting more bang for your buck with the protein. So what I'm going to start out to do is, in a large Dutch oven or fry pan, I have a pound of top round steak that I have cut into small pieces, and I salt and peppered them, and I'm going to stir fry them in 2 batches so that they get cooked properly in the beginning. So I'm going to put half of them in about a tablespoon each of olive oil or canola oil, what you like to do. So while this is happening, you'll have to talk loud, Gordy.
Okay.
As it sizzles, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Today I'm going to make what is called P.T.A. bars. And these were made by my son-in-law's sister that passed away a few months ago. And she was always the kind of lady that when we had parties, she would bring, I couldn't tell you how many treats to the table. She was a wonderful baker, a wonderful person, and I wanted to honor her because she was so good and so nice to me. And I got this recipe, which is wonderful. And in my bowl, I have a cup of brown sugar, a cup of white sugar, 2/3 cup of Crisco oil. I'm going to put in 3 eggs. Okay, you mix these all together. Okay, they're all mixed up. I'm going to put them into a 9 by 13 pan. Give this a little stir. My son-in-law's sister passed away before we had our Christmas in July, on the 4th of July with his side of the family. And Ellen, I wish you could see the things that she used to make and bring for us to have for treats. She was a very good baker. Okay, I must emphasize, when you bake these bars, you put them in a 350 degree pan for only 20 minutes. No more or no less, just 20 minutes. If they're over, they will get hard, but you have to make sure that you take them out in just 20 minutes. So in a 350 degree oven, I'm going to put these bars. See, they weren't very hard to make. I put those in there, and I'm going to time them for 20 minutes. No more or no less.
Okay, I have a bowl full of the stir-fried top round steak that I did, and set that aside, because in the same frying pan or Dutch oven, I have been browning 2 small to medium onions cut in wedges, and I've cooked them till they're browned on the edges, and getting the drippings from the flavoring them from the frying pan. To the cooked onions, I'm going to add 1 clove of garlic mashed. Well, you know, if you watch me, I have my minced garlic. I don't, just so they don't go bad. If I had fresh garlic, I always use the minced in a jar. And I'm going to mix the clove approximately in with the onions. Now, if you keep ginger root fresh, it wouldn't be fresh, you know, from the grocery store on hand, you would want to put in at this point a tablespoon of minced fresh ginger. I used to keep some ginger root on hand, and I would make a syrup, and I forgot exactly what I did with it. Of course, ginger is good for digestion, but I now buy sugared ginger to chew on when I want. So I'm going to wait. What I have here is the ground ginger, and I'm going to now add, I'll put that in at some point, 1/4 cup of low sodium soy sauce, and now I will put in, since I don't want a tablespoon, I'm going to put a teaspoon in of the ground ginger, hoping that it, you know, gives the same effect as into this. Now I want 3.5 cups of, if you're watching your sodium, low sodium beef broth. I use bouillon cubes, so that's why or the easiest thing to do is to get your can or carton of beef broth. Okay, a little bit more. You're going to let that come to a boil or a simmer. Scrape up the drippings on the bottom of the pan.
Scrape up the best parts of the dish.
That's the flavor. More flavor. Then I'm going to add, to cook for a while, vegetables. Hopefully I have like 3 medium or whatever size carrots that I have. In fact, I bought the small ones, the baby ones, and I kind of julienne them. So these are going to go into this broth. And a medium bunch of broccoli that I have cut into flowerets. Both good and vegetables, and gardens are beginning to, as long as it's not been too wet, you'll be getting these at farmers markets or your own garden. Okay, I'm going to bring this to a boil and simmer for about 10 minutes to cook the vegetables. So we will have to break at this point and let those vegetables cook. All right, I have boiled these vegetables that I added to the broth, and the carrots and the broccoli. And now I'm going to, for 10 minutes I did it, I will thicken the broth with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and with 2 tablespoons of water. I still have my bowl of beef that we'll be adding. We want to thicken up and if this is not enough to thicken, you just add another little bit of cornstarch with water. Of course, it has to simmer a while to make it thicken. I think I'll add a little bit more. It's not going to thicken until you get it back to a simmer again.
Do you serve that over rice, Nancy, or anything?
You can.
Or noodles, or?
Yeah. I'm going to add the beef at this point. And we'll let this simmer a little bit so we can really get it thickened up. When we come back, we'll be at our table. Welcome back to our table. We had some good stuff and a little mishap, but that happens in cooking. We think we've got things under control and things don't turn out the way they are, even though they might be good. But anyways, let's start with my beef and broccoli stew. I didn't think far enough ahead of time. Well, I'd never made this before, but I suggested, and I certainly agree, we could serve this over noodles or rice, but as I say, I wasn't thinking that far ahead. So the recipe I got from this Reader's Digest book that I found at a tag sale, Food Cures. So in the back there's a bunch of 75 different recipes, healthful recipes, and this is one of them. You start out with like stir frying top round steak, and if you want a recipe that stretches your protein, your meat budget, this would be one of the good recipes with a pound of top round, the way costs of meat is getting nowadays. So I stir fried the pound. I had cut them into small pieces, and when that was done, I set them aside in a bowl, and then I added two small to medium onions that I chopped up in big chunks, and I browned those for about 2 minutes in the fry pan with the drippings that were left, and to give the flavor of what I was frying. After that, I added a clove of minced garlic, and if you kept ginger root, you would take about a tablespoon of minced ginger root and add that with the garlic, and then stir it around with the onions. Let it cook for a minute or so to get flavors, and then added a quarter of a cup of low sodium, of course, if you're watching your sodium intake, soy sauce, and 3.5 cups of low sodium beef broth. You let that come to a boil, and then you add 3 carrots, sliced or julienned. I bought the baby carrots and then just kind of julienned them, and a medium bunch of broccoli that I cut into florets. So that's put into the broth and boiled for about 10 minutes to cook the vegetables. And then I added the beef that I had cooked earlier, and then to thicken up the broth, just called for 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water. I did add some more of the cornstarch and water to get it to the thickness that I wanted it to. You simmer it till it gets thickened, the thickness you want, and I would say serve it over noodles or brown rice, of course, if you're looking for more healthful ingredients for your meal. So I will turn it over to Gordy now.
Today I attempted to make some P.T.A. cookies, which was a recipe from my son-in-law's sister that passed away a couple months ago. And I kind of wish I could hear what she would say if she saw it. I know what she would say. She'd say, "Oh, Gordy, what happened?" And, well, anyway, they taste as good, but next time I will put a piece of parchment paper in my pan, and I will oil that good, and then put my batter in. the cookie sheet that I used had ripples in it, so I don't know if that would even have anything to do with that, the cookies, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. But anyway, they don't taste too bad. What goes into these P.T.A. Bars is a cup of sugar, brown sugar, a cup of white sugar, 2/3 cup of Crisco oil, 3 eggs, baking powder, flour, vanilla, and chocolate chips. And you mix them all together, and you put them in a sheet pan or 9x13 pan. This time I'm going to say put parchment in it, and then you can just pull them out and then cut them. They just didn't come out right this time. So next time I make them, I hope they do come out. But I can, as I said, I can hear what she'd say if she saw them. If you would like any of these recipes, please send a self-addressed stamp down below to Dalton Community Cable, 151 Park Avenue, Dalton, Mass. 01226. And if you would like any of these recipes today, and another thing too, we just did our 274th program, which is wonderful. Next time it will be 275, and that's going to be a gold medal cooking show. So if you would like any of these recipes, send to our cable, and have a good afternoon and have a good weekend, and happy cooking.